What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. There's a new energy in the Republican Party here at the RNC. I was there when Donald Trump walked triumphantly into the arena, and man, you could just feel it. It was electric. No sporting events, no concert, nothing you've ever been to was like a president walking into an arena of his supporters with a bandage on his ear, where a kill shot struck him in the head, and he got back up at the grace God. Dude, it's like an energy that has revitalized the entire Republican Party, and here he is fist pumping there on stage, saying USA, USA, USA with people. Just get some people going. Don Jr., somebody who's not prone to emotion. I've, of course, never seen the guy cry. How many photos and videos exist of Don Jr. on the internet? Hundreds of thousands. Have you ever seen him cry? No. The only time you'll ever see Don Jr. cry was when he watched his father walk in last night. Look at that, misty-eyed. Yeah, can you blame him? Of course. It's amazing. Don Jr. is crying, and I'm crying too, said everybody. Don Jr., though, is somebody who often makes someone else cry. You know what I mean? Don Jr. is somebody who made a reporter for MSNBC cry earlier in the day when he nuked him off the floor of the convention. Oh, it was a glorious moment. I asked him about it when he was on our program. First, here's the clip.
What's that change going to look like, Don? What practically your father as president, I think you would even say, was a divisive figure. What's it going to look like in the second term?
I don't think he was a divisive figure at all. I think the media created divisiveness around him. They lied about Russia collusion. They said he was a traitor. They went after him in every which way as possible. If the media actually starts being an honest broker, talking about the things that he did, the prosperity he brought, the peace deals that he signed around the world, rather than the disaster that we're living right now, I think you'd do everyone in the country a big favor.
I know immigration's important to him. I covered the family separation crisis closely. Will we continue to see policies like separating 5,000 children deliberately from their parents?
You mean the Obama administration?
You know they didn't do that, sir.
Okay, sure.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
Get out of here. If more Republicans treated the media like this, if more Republicans just refused to engage in the fake questioning and the fake outrage and the smears and the conspiracy theories, then we'd have a much better country, right? Democrats do this. If you ask Nancy Pelosi a question she doesn't want to answer, she's like, she'll like scream at you and probably call you some type of racial slur. We have video of her saying that. Oh, really? Like, you want don't come for me on this. We have video of Nancy Pelosi telling people to go back to China, saying, am I speaking English to you? Like, she always does this to minority reporters. We have the video. So Don Jr. Effectively saying, like, get out of here. Don Jr. responding on our program to this clip saying, you know what? Guy deserved it. You just nuked a MSNBC reporter from the floor of the convention. The convention hasn't even we've barely even gotten started.
Yeah. No,
you're already
I walked onto the floor.
20 million views on, like, get out of here.
Well, it was worse than that. They only played the 20-second clip of sort of the end of it, but I go out there. My brother and I, we're Tiffany, we're there. We're going to sort of throw my father over the delegate count in Florida, right? Yes. We're throwing him over. Florida's going to do it with the 125 delegates, whatever it is. And we're doing. And this guy. So does this mean all the hate from Trump is coming back to Washington? I go, was it hate from Trump or was it hate from you guys? Because you guys were the guys lying about Russia. You're the one that called half the country Nazis. You're the ones so maybe we responded, but you guys created that chaos. You guys were the ones sowing that discord. You've been proven wrong on all of these things, and you don't want any ownership of it. So the guy goes, like, I'm just trying to throw us over the delegate count. It has nothing to. And he goes, well, what about the 5,000 kids in cages? I go, you mean the Obama cages? And this guy lost his mind because he's a propagandist. He's a regime propagandist from MSDNC. And so I said that. I go, like, it was Obama cages. And he goes, no, it was. I go, like, you couldn't even wait 48 hours. My father was shot. Like, again, in a different time in a different place. It's not a time a guy like me stays calm.
Yes.
And yet, you have to now because we are in a different place in this country. And I'm looking at this clown. I'm like, you couldn't hold off for 48 hours before you start your lies, your propaganda, You're narrative peddling. Like, of course it was Obama. We can check that in real time. Jay Johnson talked about it. Obama's own guy. Joe Biden's situation is 100 times worse on the migrant crisis at the border, with children, with human trafficking, with fentanyl. But he wants to talk about that while negating the origins of all of it, Obama. Yes. Because they can't help themselves. They can't do anything else. So, I'd like to. I think I'd put him in his place. It seems like even the lefties that have been posting be like, okay, I got to give Don the win on this one. I hate that bastard John Jr., but I got to give him the win on this one.
Such an honor to have somebody like Don Jr. on our program. We're so incredibly, we just feel incredibly blessed by you, by the audience. It's our job to actually bring you these moments and to expound upon them and to bring depth to them. But there's no more depth that we can bring to Don Jr.'s interactions on the floor of the convention center. A legendary run here. Okay, we referenced it in that last clip. A legendary run. Here we go. Don Jr., the mother effer. Go.
Don, first of all, huge sorry from the Fox family to what happened to your father. How's he feeling today? Is he ready for what's in store for him this week? And what did you say to him when that first happened?
I literally called him, and him and I have an interesting relationship. My first words, the first words out of my mouth were, "You're the biggest badass I've ever seen," and I actually mean that, right? I sort of just said it. Everyone these days is a tough guy on the internet or on a keyboard, but when you've actually been shot and you can get up defiant, fist in the air, telling people to stay in the game, to fight. That's exactly the kind of leadership we need. That's actually a man that's been tested. Everyone thinks they're going to be the tough guy. Most aren't. He is, and I could not have been more impressed with him in that moment. And I've been impressed with him for a long time.
This was an incredibly close call, and the former First Lady Melania Trump, put it so eloquently in her letter that it was so close. Her whole life could have changed. Your life could have changed. What did you feel in that moment when you found out what had happened, when just the first pieces of information were coming in?
Yeah, no, it was very tough because it took me about 90 minutes to actually get anything, right? They'd lock everything down. He's in the hospital. There's no cell phones, I assume, because of potential IED type stuff when they don't know what's going on. So I was I got a call, my father's been shot, and that's the only information you have. And it took about 90 minutes to even find out that he's alive and well. So that was a rough time. And then I spoke to him and I said what I said. And we sort of even in that moment, he was still having some levity, and you just back in the game. And it was incredible. It was actually a couple hours later when you sit down, you start reading it, you start seeing the videos, that's when it was like just the adrenaline dump hits, and it was different. It was a life-changing experience.
There's a lot of scrutiny about the Secret Service. There's going to be oversight hearings on Capitol Hill. What do you think happened? Do you think something went wrong? Was he vulnerable?
Listen, I know a lot of those guys, and some of them are incredible patriots. I had a Secret Service detail for 4 years, but I also know, having had it, having been in it, having been both my father as a president, as a candidate, my own details, someone to get out on an open roof within 130 yards, I'm not going to be the guy to be conspiratorial, but something went wrong.
So should he stop doing those outdoor rallies, perhaps? Is that what you would recommend to him?
I don't think he'd want to stop doing them. I think you see the response.
Maybe, do you want to tell him?
Stop, but I think, we got to guard that perimeter a little bit better. I came from a competitive shooting background. A 130-yard shot, it's like a 2-foot putt. That's nothing. It doesn't get easier than that. So that was truly divine intervention as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think it's hit him yet? Do you think it's sort of finally settled in for him?
Oh, 100%. I think it settled in, and he's moving on. The resolve, the defiance that you saw in the seconds after that, he's just going to carry that energy on and fight for our country that way.
He's moving on now with this VP pick, J.D. Vance, who obviously was a favorite of yours. Talk to me about why, and what you told your father.
I just said, listen, he's a guy. Honestly, what it is, I watched J.D. go into sort of, let's call it, enemy territory from a media perspective, go on the most liberal TV shows and prosecute the case for my father and against the Democrat lunacy that we've seen. He does that better than almost any of our people can do on more conservative television. And you see that, you see the intelligence, and you hear his life story. That's going to resonate. We have a very tough electoral college map. People are like, oh, it's over now. Nothing's over. It's not over. It's not over till the last ballots close on November 5th, and if the Democrats get their way, they'll drag it on till 2:30, 4 in the morning otherwise. So we have to stay in the game. He's a guy that can go to the Rust Belt, to the places like Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and articulate that case. He's lived an incredible American dream story. And when more people figure that out, I think they'll see that I was probably really, really correct in sort of my choice.
Do you feel like he can lead? There's been some criticism that he doesn't have enough political experience. He's a freshman senator from Ohio, not enough
had zero political experience. He led us to peace deals in the Middle East, the greatest job economy in the world, incredible prosperity for everyone with no experience. If experience is a marker for Washington, D.C. politics, it's a bad one. How many people do we see that chair committees that don't know what they're talking about only because they've been there longer? I can go through whether it's Maxine Waters or a bunch of the Democrats, they're in positions of power because they've had tenure, not because they actually know anything about what they're chairing. If experience in politics is anything, I don't think it's very important at all, frankly.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.